Welcome to the FarmBits podcast.
FarmBits is proudly produced by the Nebraska Digital Agriculture Team and hosted by students at the University of Nebraska.
The FarmBits podcast comes to you each week to discuss the trends, the realities, and the value of digital agriculture.
Through interviews with experts, producers, and innovators from across the agriculture industry, we hope that you step away from each episode with new practical knowledge of digital agriculture technology.
Hello, FarmBits followers, and welcome to another episode of the FarmBits podcast. I'm Katie Bathke.
And I'm José Cesario. We are glad to have you with us as we are joined by Water and Integrated Cropping Systems Extension educator, Luan Pereira de Oliveira.
Through the On-Farm Research Network, Luan works with producers to educate the implementation and benefits of digital agriculture technologies.
With that in mind, let's hear more from Luan. Thank you very much, Luan Oliveira, for being here with us today. It's a pleasure to have you as a guest in our FarmBits podcast. The first question that we want to start here is first to share a little bit about your education and your professional background, as well as what are you up to do today in the on-farm extension in Nebraska?
Okay. First of all, thanks for having me, Katie and Jose. So I'm an agronomist engineer. So this is my undergrad. This is my major. And I worked with extension since my undergraduate, since there. So I had my first contact with extension there. And when I went to the graduate degree, like master's and PhD, I had the opportunity to work with machinery and precision agriculture. So my professional background is basically that, like precision ag and ag machinery. And this is more like testing agricultural mechanized operations, the quality of that operations. But I have to say that I did a little bit of everything during my career. During my undergrad, I worked with a professor on soil health. And then I went to this extension project that we were working. I'm going to explain more about it. So, and right now, today, I'm an extension educator, and I work for the University of Nebraska Lincoln Extension System. And I cover 3 counties in the northeastern Nebraska, which is Burt, Thurston, and Dakota counties.
Okay. Yeah, I guess leading into that, you can kind of go a little bit more into the question for those of you who may not be familiar with the extension system. What is your job as an extension educator, and more specifically as a water and integrated cropping systems extension lead educator?
The mission of Nebraska Extension is to engage with Nebraskans and bring valuable information about several and diverse topics. So my job as an extension educator is to be the front line of that several and diverse topics. So it's to connect with local farmers and bring that information when they need it. Okay. So the information is provided by extension researchers like professors, extension specialists, and from the on-farm trials. So, and these on-farm trials, me as an extension educator and other educators, we perform these trials at farmers' fields. So this is basically what we do as an extension educator, and the lead educator piece is it's a little bit more complex to explain. So okay. I'm gonna try to summarize here. As the lead educator, I'm responsible for being the local point of contact for UNL and the county. So I'm responsible for the office by itself. So today we have a great staff composed by me, by a 4-age assistant and an office manager. And I provide the assistance for their needs, like anything related to career or university-wise, so budget and this kind of things. It's about the lead unit educator. So it's more the lead educator piece is most complex because it involves like more people, and it is something that I'm still learning even after almost a year working here for Nebraska Extension.
Okay.
Oh, that's great. That's exciting, Luan. And since you mentioned all these roles that you guys have in the extension on farm from Nebraska, what aspect of the working do you enjoy the most?
Yeah, as this is what I was saving from before about the my previous job with extension during my undergraduate degree. So I did a little bit of everything, and I have to say a short story like for that. When I was in Brazil during my undergraduate degree, I had the opportunity to work with an extension project. So that was bringing horticultural gardens to schools. So and the main outcome with that was to increase awareness and knowledge from kids between 4 to 10 years old about the benefits of healthy eating habits and about environmental safety. So we were like bringing these gardens to these schools, and then we were teaching the kids how to plant, how to water it, and in the meantime, like we were teaching them the importance of the fruits, of the vegetables, and everything. And everything was made. Was made by the kitchen gardens. They were made by plastic recycled plastic bottles. So with that, we were kind of teaching them the importance of recycling and saving the environment. And at the end of each semester, we kind of we were giving surveys at the beginning and at the end. And then at the end of the semester, every semester we were surprised, like from the feedback from the teachers, from the parents, and from the kids. So and it was an amazing experience because I realized that the job that the university extension makes the difference on people's life. So that's the part that I enjoy the most. So here's the same. So I think that the most important aspect is about connecting with people and knowing their stories and being able to help those who need when they need. So and the best part of that is that you're still getting paid for that, you know.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
it's the perfect job.
Yeah.
I love that. I think you summed that up in like a really unique and interesting way that we haven't quite heard about yet.
Yeah.
So can you go ahead and explain to us a little bit more about the region that you cover as an extension educator, kind of more in terms of what kind of crops, precipitation, and soil do you mostly work with?
Okay, the main crops produced at my colonies that I cover are corn and soybeans, rotated every year. But we have a lot of livestock too, so a lot of cattle calves, and we do have, and farmers are starting doing some cover crops, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
As far as precipitation, if I look to the 3 counties I cover together, they are very close to each other, and they border with the Missouri River. So with Iowa, the precipitation is always above like 20-25 inches, and a year. And I look at for some history data, and it goes above 35 inches in some years. So let's say if we are in average 27.5, so that would be it. So and they look like each other, like in terms of precipitation, but there are the next question is about soil, right?
Yes.
That's a hard one. So always when we talk about soil, it's very hard because they are variable, right? Very variable.
Mhm.
So when I first started on this job, 9 months ago, I was looking at the survey, and I have some numbers here in my mind. So there are a total of 86 different soil types in Burt County, which is the county that I'm based in.
Wow.
Yeah, according to the USDA soil survey. So, but this is when considering slope, percentage, erosion, fluted and non-fluted land. By considering the soil type by the texture only, there is a total of 40 soils.
Mhm.
And from that total, like almost 50% is represented by only 5. So as we border with the Missouri River, there is a soil there that is called silty clay loam, which the local farmers, the local community, they call gumbo, because it's very silty and it's very sticky. So very challenging to farm, but they still do it. They do very well there. And it's very much it. Like if we look only the texture, like we have like clay loam is pretty much 50%, and silty loam 16%, and the other 30% are silt loam. So all of them have some silty in because of the bottom river land.
Mhm.
And that's pretty much it about soil.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's pretty interesting, Luan. And since you mentioned about all this variability that we have from soils, it seems like a good, really good place to apply some of that technology that we have in precision ag,
Exactly.
because it works sometimes to make these recommendations based on these different soils, right?
Yep.
And based on that, I would like to switch gears a little bit more towards your specializations that we have in your profile, such as planting, data science, precision ag, drones, GIS. Can you expand a little more about this technology and how is this being used for helping farmers?
Sure. Yeah, of course. So on the planting side, so it is. I just left the meeting. I was at the Eastern Nebraska Research and Extension Center where we were discussing with the NRDs some ideas, like kind of brainstorming. And the planting side is about quality of planting. So it's about planter adjustments for better planting performance. So basically, my plan is to provide information about best planting practices and hopefully increase the knowledge and awareness about the importance of keeping your planter well maintained. So the seeds are placed at the right place, and they can emerge, they can germinate and emerge better. And data science is something simple, actually, right? People say, "Oh, data science." So it should transform the data that is coming from an equipment or machine and transform it into information. Because when you have that data, that you don't do anything with that. So just transforming that data into information, something tangible, that the farmers can use for improve yield and profitability. So I do some work with that. It's not that deep, like with machine learning or artificial intelligence, but I do some statistics that help farmers on the decision-making process. Sometimes, and the next one is about precision agriculture, right?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes when someone talk about precision agriculture and someone hears that, their brain kind of freezes, like, come on, what is that? But my job is to change that, explaining that precision agriculture is no more than a management tool that help us to manage field variability, right?
Mhm.
This is what Jose just talked about, that we have a lot of different soils, so we can treat that soils differently and then apply the right inputs for each portion of the field, instead using a flat amount of that input. So this is about that precision agriculture keyword. And then drones. So those are my favorite toys right now. every day I learn something new about the drones and how they are being used for making the agriculture better. And I'm pretty sure that you both too. I use my drones basically for crop scouting back there in my counties. Actually, I'm partnering with another educator, so I go there in their counties and fly the drones too. So I have this friend, which is an extension educator too in Alabama. So he is using it for performing crop stand counts for farmers. So and these stand counts, they are helping them on replanting decisions or even production estimations. So I did some corn stand counts here in Nebraska now, and I did some at Plath County with Bruno Lina, the extension educator there, and they look amazing. I mean, you can count the plants, you can fly the drone, and then the drone is gonna take the pictures, and the software is gonna process that images, and then you can count the plants. So you have the number of plants that you have in a determined area. Okay, so for middle season, you can do some vegetation indexes with the drones, so you can create maps, and you see if your plants they are affected by any type of disease or insects or even nutrition deficiency. Yeah, nutrition deficiency. So can I go back? So yeah, so if you zoom it, you can see the plant by plant using that software that I just mentioned with the stand count, and it works great. So in the middle season, you can perform vegetation indexes. Many people know about NDVI, NDRE. So you can look at some affected spots on your field by nutrient deficiencies, or if they are affected by weeds or insects. Okay, and the software that we are using right now, that software even allows us to do tassel counting with corns. So when the corn is in reproductive stage, we can fly the drone again and count the tassels, and then we see actually how many plants I have on my field. And even this software, it's amazing how technology is today, because this software even allow you to create weed pressure maps. So you can fly the drone, see exactly where you have more weed pressure, and do spot application. Okay. So the GIS piece after the drones, like I actually have one more information here that about drones that is amazing how technology is increasing. So today there are commercial drones that can apply, that can fly, that can cover 40 acres in an hour. So it's very big drones that can carry 30 liters, which would be more or less 9 gallons. So they can cover up to 40 acres in an hour. And the GIS piece goes with the data science, but is more for creating or working with the existing maps for the decision-making process.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. It sounds like you have kind of an extensive background in a lot of different aspects, especially as you progress through the growing season. So I think that was really beneficial. Kind of tacking in on some of that is, what's something that you personally look forward to for the future of digital and precision agriculture technologies?
Okay. My advisor from Brazil, his name is Dr. Roverson. And we work with quality of different mechanized operations. So we work with something very specific that is called statistical control of process, and they basically look like ECGs. It's like a control chart, like a graph that looks like an electrocardiogram. Every time that I ask him, hey, what is the future of this? And then he say a real-time decision making. Like, for example, so this is what I see for the future: real-time communication, decision making, and autonomous machines.
Wow.
So I know it's too much to think about, and I've read something this week that made me think. So someone said, if we go back 25 years on time and think about tractors that drive themselves, or drones flying around and measuring crops' health or counting plants, would you believe that?
Probably not.
Yeah. So this is basically that technology is increasing every day. Every single day we see something new on the market. So that autonomous decision making is starting to be commercial. So there's a technology name is SmartDAP that I'm pretty sure me and Jose, we were talking about a presentation that a friend of mine gave at the ASA last year. And on that presentation, we worked with that technology. It's called SmartDAP. During planting, the SmartDAP communicates with a smart firmware. So okay, a smart firmware is a soil temperature, moisture, and organic matter sensor. So the planter adjusts the depth automatically according to the soil moisture. It's an autonomous decision, and it's real-time decision making. So that's already on the market. But now think about a drone that goes every day to the field autonomously and identifies some weeds, and in the tank it has different herbicides, so it apply and it terminate that weed right away, so you don't need to be concerned. So that is autonomous decision making and real-time thinking. So this is where I think that it is coming from the future, and this is what I look forward in the future to happen.
That's amazing, Luan. I agree with you. I don't think we are that far from this reality.
No, we are
right?
not. Yeah, we're not that far. We see I see your shirt that is a digital agriculture, Katie.
Yes.
So Joe Luck, he has the Sense project with Lila and Laura. So
that's the project that I actually.
Oh yeah, so see, that project Sense is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
So it's autonomous.
Yeah, we have
it's real-time decision making, and it's real-time application of nitrogen.
Yeah, no, that's great, Luan. Thanks for sharing that. And since you talked about these technologies, I would like to ask about how the growers are seeing that. Are they interested on trying new things?
Yes. I think that all the farmers today, they have some kind of technologies, and there are some that already use drones for crop scouting. There are others that use variable rate nutrient application, and it's not like real time as the project sense, but their variable rate nutrient application is based on the soil analysis.
Okay.
And others has the most recent released planter systems. So other has a great combine. So they have a very good, let's say, willingness to try different technologies, and they do very well here with their planters, with their combines.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that with us. I guess kind of from your perspective, do you and you kind of touched on this a little bit, so I'm going to kind of tie these next two questions together of how we can see this one being implemented on growers' operations, and then kind of what some of your work is in the on-farm research network with kind of doing that with the farmers as well.
Yeah, that's great. So I just started with my own farm trials, and I'm looking forward with the results. So and then looking forward to share the results with the farmers. Okay. So and also excited to exchange the knowledge with my water and integrated cropping systems hubs colleagues. And I think that like research like this being implemented on grower operations is everything about my first answer that is about I think it was my second answer about testing in this, like in my background, testing the quality of the operation and seeing the impacts of that operation on crop. On crop, I measure the emergence, I measure the growth, I fly the drone, I see the vegetation indexes and see if that planting operation, for example, gave any impact, made any impact on the crop.
So that's great, Luan. So, and would you mind also talking a little bit about some of the precision ag work you've been doing in Alabama? Because we checked your CV and see that you were working in Alabama before coming to Nebraska.
Yeah, sure. In Alabama, I worked with the precision agriculture team from Auburn University, and the team is led by Dr. Brenda Ortiz. And there, I worked more on the precision planting technologies evaluation. So it's about that smart depth that I mentioned before. There is a hydraulic downforce system that I tested. But Dr. Ortiz's team also works with other areas, as like using different soil probes or soil moisture sensors for variable rate irrigation scheduling. So I worked a little bit with that too. And the assessment of peanut maturity using drones. So it's a very, very good group too. It's a very hardworking group and work with a lot of different technologies that are on the market today. And with my work, I was testing different loads of the hydraulic downforce system on corn, cotton, and soybean crops. And soybeans and also peanuts. Yes, soybeans I did in Brazil, actually. In Alabama, I did corn, cotton, and peanuts. Yes, and I worked also with that smart depth technology that I mentioned before, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you. I guess our next question will be, since you're from Brazil, how do you see the differences between the extension from US and Brazil in terms of technology adoption?
Yes, I do. I see that the technologies are more accessible here than in Brazil, and Jose can agree with me with that. Mainly for small farmers. I mean, if you are a big farmer in Brazil, you have more access to technology because you farm more, and then you have more profits. But for small farmers, I do see more technology being available for here in US than in Brazil. So that increases the adoptions, right?
Mhm.
Another thing I can think about to point out is the university's extension. Here in US, the extension is bigger. So the information given by the universities can lead to a behavioral change, which is the technology adoption.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Luan. I see that in Brazil, sometimes we don't have this connection between universities and the extension.
Yes.
So that's something that we miss there. That's really great here in US. That would be great to do in Brazil.
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
Yeah, exactly.
If we come back, right?
Yeah.
And then where can our listeners go to learn more if interested, or more questions arise about anything we talked about today?
Okay. UNL Crop Watch website has a very good information about everything that I mentioned today. And I, together with Nate Dorsey, the extension educator in Dodge County, and Bruno Lina, the extension educator in Platte County. So we are working together in a platform named Smart Machinery. Actually, is a program named Smart Machinery, and then we had this blog, which is a website, and it is already online. We don't have a lot of posts there because it's a new thing. So if you access smartmachinery.farm, you're gonna get to this daily blog where we're gonna post daily or weekly, and then we're gonna post about technologies, precision agriculture, and results from ours and others' research. And we are actually working on the possibility of bringing some trainings too. So one thing that we are working with is to bring a FAA Part 107 training, which is the commercial drone license for pilots. So we want you to create this course for people who want to take the training, and then we are going to offer through the Smart Machinery program.
That's exciting. I would like to do
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah, and because our focus here today, I mean, like for this season, is the Nebraska Extension. I want to hear from you. What do you think that makes Nebraska Extension different? What sets it apart from extension programs in other states?
I don't think I have an answer for that. I'm still learning about like UNL extension, and as more as I learn, as more I get wondered on how big UNL extension is. I got amazed. Like we have 93 counties in Nebraska. UNL has an office and an agent, could be from ag or 4-H or beef systems on each one of those offices. So a Nebraska extension is huge. So I don't have a comparison.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
What I think is that all the extension programs have the same mission in mind, which is to make the world a better place on several and diverse areas, and in their respective states and countries, right?
Right. I agree.
Yeah. So I guess our last question for you today is, do you have any advice or words of wisdom for producers in any location that might want to get involved in the extension systems, whether that be in Nebraska or in other states?
Thanks for your willingness on working with us, and we are here for you. So
That's amazing. Thank you
Yes,
very much.
I love that.
thank you.
Thank you very much to Luan for taking the time to join this episode of the FarmBits podcast. It's really exciting to hear his perspective and knowledge focused around how to use digital technologies within cropping systems. One of my favorite parts of this episode is the diversity of where digital technologies can be applied to agriculture today.
I would have to agree with you, Katie, but my favorite part is when Luan talks about the use of real-time decision making for either planting depth or nutrient application based on soil variability. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode, and we look forward to sharing another digital ag story with you next week. Thank you for taking the time to join us today on the FarmBits podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts to be informed about the latest content each week.
We welcome your feedback, so if you have comments or questions for us, please reach out to us over email, on Twitter, or in the review section of your favorite podcast platform. Our contact information can be found in the show notes.
We would like to thank Nebraska Extension for their support of this podcast and their commitment to providing high-quality informational material to members of the agricultural community in Nebraska and beyond.
The opinions expressed by the host and guests on this podcast are solely their own and do not reflect the views of Nebraska Extension or the University of Nebraska-Lincoln.
We look forward to you joining us next week for another episode of FarmBits.